Hello students, now let us start with the next topic, that is buffer action. So you might be here, you will be observing here that there are some there are some markings I already made on this slide because I had taken already conducted the live lectures. So I'm using the same slides and I explained those things earlier also. So that is why you can see here some of the markings I already made here. Now let us start with the next, that is buffer action. Now as I already told, there are two different types of buffer. One is acidic buffer and other one is a basic buffer. I'll be repeating some of those. So acidic buffer is nothing but the combination of weak acid and weak acid salt with strong base. Example is acetic acid plus sodium acetate. So you always remember this is an acidic buffer. Basic buffer, it is a combination of weak base and weak base salt with strong acid, that is ammonium hydroxide and ammonium chloride here. Now this CH3CONa, this is a strong electrolyte which dissociates completely into acetate ion and sodium ion. On the other hand, acetic acid, it is a weak acid and the concentration of this undissociated CH3COOH molecules is high in this case, in case of weak acid. Now, if the strong acid or is added to this solution, we'll proceed further. If strong acid is added to this, H plus ions will be consumed by the conjugate base CH3COO, which is present in the large concentration. Means if the strong acid is added to this combination, that is of acetic acid and sodium acetate, if we add strong acid, so strong acid means it will produce H plus ions. So this H plus ion will be consumed by the conjugate base. This is the conjugate base of this acid, that is CH3COO minus. This will be consumed, this H plus ion which are produced here, I showed it with the arrow. So this will be consumed by this acetate ion and ultimately it will result in the formation of acetic acid. Okay. So this is the thing when strong acid is added to this acidic buffer. Okay, means there will be again a production of undissociated CH3COOH molecules here. Now, if strong base is added to this, I'm talking about this. If strong base is added, what will happen? This acetate ion, so this added OH minus ions, it will be neutralized by the large concentration of acetic acid. Large concentration of acetic acid as shown in the following reaction, that is CH3COO minus plus H plus. So this is the case when an acid is added, there will be production of large amount of this acetic acid in the solution. And if you are adding the base to the same one, so the reaction will be acetic acid plus OH minus. This is your added base. Means if you are adding the base to this, added base, so it will give you CH3COO minus plus water molecule. Means here you can say that the acid or base, means if you are adding an acid here, which is shown by H plus ion, and if you are adding base to this, it will not change the concentration of H plus and OH minus ion. So there will be no change in the concentration of H plus or OH minus ions, and the pH of this buffer will remain, it will remain unchanged here. Because I'll just repeat the things, means if you are adding an acid to this, so this added H plus ion here, it will be consumed by this CH3COO and acetate ion, and there will be formation of acetic acid in large amount. In addition to this CH3COOH here, this CH3COH, which is a weak acid. So there will be, in addition to this CH3COOH, there will be uh, mm, presence or existence of undissociated CH3COH already will be there. So this CH3COH and this CH3COH here, so this results in the large production or large amount of CH3COH here. So this CH3 to this CH3COOH acetic acid, if you add a base, this is your added base, so it will form CH3COO acetate ions plus water molecule. So this CH3COO minus, that is acetate ion, again it will be consumed uh, by this H plus ion from this water molecule, which dissociates again very slightly. So again, in both the cases, ultimately there will be large production of acetic acid, and the added OH minus ion here, those will be neutralized by the presence of this acetic acid from here. So ultimately, it will result that there will be no change in the concentration of H plus ion or OH minus ion, isn't it? So this is how the acidic buffer acts. Now you can explain the same for the basic buffer also. That is the mechanism of action of basic buffer. So basic buffer, it is a solution containing weak base and its salt with the strong acid. Now as the base is a weaker one, so you can say that as the base is a weak base here, so you can say that it dissociates very less or feebly, and the salt dissociates completely. So due to the presence of, I'll just explain here. I'll write something here. So just a second. So here you can write example as basic buffer. Basic buffer example is NH4OH, as I told earlier also, NH4OH plus NH4Cl. So due to the presence of this common ion, here also in case of acidic buffer also the common ion effect is also there. So we'll be talking about this common ion effect in the next lecture. But remember that this common ion which are present here, this also plays a major role in buffer action. So this NH4Cl, it dissociates as NH4 plus Cl minus. So the weak base dissociates very less or in very small amount, but the salt will dissociate completely, and due to the presence of common ion, the dissociation of base is further suppressed here. So you can write the next reaction that a small quantity of strong acid is added to this. Means when you are adding the small quantity of acid to this particular combination, that is the solution of NH4OH and NH4Cl. So what will happen to this base here? That is H plus. You are adding here an acid, which is shown by this H plus ion, and NH4OH already in the basic buffer. It will dissociate as NH4 plus water molecule. Okay. So this is the reaction here. So this removal of added H plus, this is called as the reserved basicity. Means what is happening actually when a small quantity of H plus is added or strong acid is added to this solution, the hydrogen ions, these hydrogen ions combine with the base producing cations and water molecule. Okay. Now when this small quantity of strong base is added, when you're adding OH minus ion, when you are adding OH minus ion, so the hydroxide ion, which is a base here, they will combine with the NH4 plus ions to form undissociated NH4OH. So there will be formation of undissociated NH4OH. So As a result, what will happen? The hydroxyl ion, the concentration of this OH minus ion, it does not change. And since there is no change in the concentration of OH minus ion, so there will be no change in the pH of the solution. So there will be no change in the pH of the solution. We are talking about the basic buffer, remember. Okay. So this removal of added OH minus ion, this is called as the reserved acidity. So even if you are adding H plus ion or even if you are adding OH minus ion, there will be no change in the pH of the solution because the production of this NH4 plus here, this is neutralized by this OH minus ion. And result is that there is no change in the pH of the solution. This is how the basic buffer acts. So this is about the acidic and mechanism of action of acidic buffer and the basic buffer. Now the next will be solubility equilibria. So when we talk about the solubility equilibria, we are considering only the sparingly soluble salt. Remember, I wrote here, sparingly soluble compounds are always considered here. So silver chloride, here silver chloride, in some additional information I can give you. That is the OS plus dilute HCl. This is the test for the first group. Precipitation is there. Now this, in case of this aluminum sulfate, which is a sparingly soluble salt, here it is soluble in water to a very small extent. Means if you are adding aluminum sulfate in water, you will have to warm the solution, then only some of the crystal they will be soluble in water. So such salts are called as the sparingly soluble salt. So the example, another example, that is silver chloride, which is a sparingly soluble salt, but it is again a strong electrolyte. But the amount of this AgCl that is soluble in water dissociates completely into Ag plus and Cl minus. Okay. Now there will be existence of equilibrium between the undissolved AgCl and dissolved Ag plus and Cl minus ions, that is silver ions and chloride ions. As we say that this is the sparingly soluble or very feebly soluble salt, then it will, if it dissociates like this, Ag plus and Cl minus ions are formed. In addition to this, there will be some amount of undissolved AgCl will be there, and the part which is soluble, it will give you Ag plus and chloride minus ion. So there will be establishment of equilibrium between silver chloride, which is undissolved, and the dissolved silver ions and chloride ion. Okay, it means that. So this result in the development or production or the existence of equilibrium between these two things. Now this is called as the saturated solution. So this equilibrium which is established between them, it is called as the solubility equilibrium. This is called as the solubility equilibrium. Now this, if you add NH4Cl plus AgNO3, I wrote this equation here. NH4Cl plus AgNO3, there will be formation of AgCl plus ammonia nitrate here. Means ammonium chloride plus AgNO3, there will be formation of AgCl. Immediately there will be precipitation. Now this suggests that the salt is sparingly soluble in water. Okay. Now the next, this K is equal to concentration of silver ions and concentration of Cl minus ion, that is chloride ion, divided by concentration of the salt. So concentration of AgCl, that is the undissolved solid, which is a constant one. So concentration of AgCl, you can write constant, which is denoted by K dash. So you can substitute instead of AgCl, you can write K dash here in this equation. So this K into K dash, so this K into K dash, That is what we call as the solubility product. That is equal to concentration of silver ions and concentration product of concentration of silver ions and concentration of chloride ion. So this K into K dash, this is the another constant and it is called as the solubility product, which is the product of ions in a saturated solution, which is denoted by KSP. So this KSP is nothing but the product of this silver ions and chloride ions. So you can write the more examples for this. We'll go to the next one. Like CaF2, calcium fluoride. So it will dissociate as calcium ions and two fluoride ions. So the solubility product or solubility product here you can write KSP, that is it can be given as concentration of calcium ion and concentration of fluoride ions raised to 2. So this 2 is nothing but this is the stoichiometric coefficient for this, which is written over here. Now Bi2S3, bismuth sulfide, just to maintain the stoichiometry, this should be twice Bi3 plus thrice S2 minus, isn't it? So the solubility product for this, it is given by concentration of bismuth ion raised to 2 and sulfide ion raised to 3. So these are the stoichiometric coefficients here. Calcium phosphate here, C thrice Ca2 plus and twice PO4 3 minus. So the solubility product for this will be calcium 2 plus raised to 3. So this 3 is the stoichiometric coefficient and this is the stoichiometric coefficient for phosphate ions. I hope you know how to uh, formulate the molecular formula for the salt. This is just the 8-9 standard concept I showed here. We do the cross multiplication and all. This is already known to you. So I won't be talking much about this. So this is about the buffer action and the solubility equilibria for this. So this is all for the about this. Now we'll talk about the molar solubility in the next lecture. Thank you.